Hey guys, I hope you guys are all doing great today. This is Logan Petzold from the Whitetail Teacher, and today we are going to talk about shot placement and how different angles and elevations can dictate how your arrow goes through a deer, where your arrow goes through a deer, and how that all should play a part in how you aim. So without further ado, let's get into it. To start, I would like to say that yes, we would all love to just have broadside shots at 20 yards. You know, that's what we practice in our backyard with most of the time if we're just trying to get some shots in, nothing too crazy. You know, you step out, normally your target's broadside and you just take your shots. Well, in the world we live in today and every day, that just isn't the case. Deer will come in quartering towards you, quartering away from you, broadside. You're 20 feet up in the sky in a tree, or who knows, maybe you're 8 feet into the tree. You know, however you like to hunt, it all kind of plays a difference in the way that the arrow is going to go through a deer. So to start, I would like to talk about having the quartering away shot. So I brought an arrow. I've got my Glendale 3D buck target in the backyard. And we're going to talk about this a little bit. So when I say quartering away, I mean that the deer's butt is facing towards you more than its head is. So it would be like if I was standing here, this deer would be slightly quartering away from me because that angle is over 90 degrees. And how you're going to want to think about this shot is if you aim here, which right there, that is hitting the liver. Now as this arrow goes through him, entering through the liver at about a 45 degree angle, you're gonna probably clip the lungs, a lot of the lungs. And that thing is almost coming out at the back shoulder of that deer. And that's almost the most ideal shot, is because you have the biggest room to make a lethal killing shot. You aim in the lungs, you're coming right through that shoulder. You hit the heart, you're going right through the heart and definitely through that shoulder, maybe even in front of the shoulder. And so as you're thinking about a shot that's quartering away, know that you have the best opportunity there to make a lethal shot and a good clean kill. Now, broadside's obvious. Your arrow's going to go straight through, but the thing that you want to take into consideration is your elevation. So as a arrow's coming from this angle, broadside, you're going to come down, and it's going to go through those vitals. It's a good clean shot. It's nothing much else to that for the broadside section. And I should have mentioned this in the quartering away, so let's talk about that really quick. As you're thinking about the angle of elevation coming in, this arrow might hit the top. Let's say it's top lung. Well, now your arrow is still traveling down into the vitals still. So you're probably going to end up hitting top one lung and then into a double lung there. And if you go liver, you might get liver and lung. You go heart, you might just get the heart, but that's making a clean pass through most likely. Through the heart and then out the deer, and you're going to get a good arrow with good blood on it as long as you make a good shot. Now let's talk about the quartering towards, and I'm going to stand over on this side because that's where the arrow would be coming from. So let's say you're over here, this deer's quartering towards you. This would be your surface area that you have right from about here to here to make a good shot. Now as that arrow's traveling, you're aiming right for that heart, right there. And the issue is you miss a little bit to the left, and you're hitting front shoulder, and that's bone. The way that bows and arrows are made today, at 20 yards, your arrow very well might be fast enough to get through that bone and puncture some vitals. But as you get farther away, you know, 25, 30, 35, 40 yards, that's going to be tougher to penetrate through that bone and actually get some good blood and some good penetration on that deer. So this is probably the toughest shot, is the quartering towards you, because your window of success is much slimmer. You got to avoid the front shoulder, but then you're also looking at, you don't want to go into the guts, because even if you hit lungs here, well, you're still traveling through, and you're going to gut shot that deer. Now, when I say gut shot, I mean that the arrow will probably clip the guts or go right through the guts. But hopefully, if you make a good shot on them, you still got the lungs or the liver, and that deer should still die. It's just going to be a little bit of a mess to clean up when you're going to gut the deer. But it's a good point, because now you're looking at elevation at a quartering towards, and you might come here, and if you get lucky, that arrow shouldn't clip the guts. It might come down through the back side of its underbelly, of its chest. It might come through straight down like this and just boom, depending on how close that deer is. You know, if it's 5 yards from the base of your tree, well, now you're looking at a much severer angle of it coming down. And I've actually had this happen. I had a little spike buck. He was a little messed up. He had like, almost looked like a bottle opener on one side, and then just a super long tine. And this was a deer that I didn't know anything about, but I wanted to shoot because it was my first bow buck kill. And secondly, his antlers looked deformed, and he looked like probably a 2.5 to 3.5-year-old buck. And I didn't want to give him the resources to take away food resources from the other bigger bucks that might be on the property. But anyway, so the story goes, I'm sitting there in my tree stand, and all of a sudden I look over. I was facing the other way, but I look over and there's a deer, and he just comes walking right in. And I kid you not, he was probably 3 yards from the base of my tree. I pulled back, let an arrow fly, came right through, hit liver, and a little bit of lungs, and then straight down. And actually what happened was, his stomach opened up, and as I watched him run away, there was a piece of, it was either intestine or just fat that was hanging out of him. And so I knew that that deer was gonna die. I gave him some extra time though, because it was a liver shot, and it wasn't the best shot that I could have placed on a deer. But that just goes to show you that your angle of elevation and the distance makes a difference. And it's all based on the Pythagorean theorem and how you figure out angles, and it's a bunch of different stuff that I am not smart enough to talk about yet. I might end up doing some research on it, but we'll see. If you guys are interested in that and you want to know like different angles, different distances, and how that all plays a part in how you should aim in your pins and what pin to use and all that good stuff from a tree standpoint, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear back from you guys and see if you would like that. So that's basically, in a short little video, how shot placement and different angles of the deer facing you, whether it's quartering away, broadside, or quartering towards, plays effect in how your arrow passes through, where you should aim, and how you should do that. Now the last thing I want to talk about, and this is something I saw on a Facebook forum, is do you want to take direct shots right through the chest? And for me, in my own mental state, I say no. I think that if a deer is facing directly towards you, there's too much that can go wrong. As you pull that trigger, his head might go down to get some food, and that could lead for a whole world of problems. And I also think you're running the risk of not being able to get any penetration to the vitals. And if you miss that windpipe, well, that's gonna be a problem too. So my best recommendation to you guys is stick to the quartering away and the broadside shot. And if you have to take a shot close quarters, you know, you're less likely to miss at close quarters. take that quartering towards shot, but make it count, man. And if you want to practice it, I think it's a good idea to always practice things that could happen in the field. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification too, stay updated. This summer's got a lot of stuff going on. Finally getting some free time to film YouTube videos and just enjoy talking about deer. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram. That is where a lot of my daily content comes out, and I think you guys will really enjoy that. That's quick little minute videos and photos and just good food for thought. And as you prepare for the whitetail season 2022, it's coming soon. If you like the hoodie, if you like the hat, make sure to check out the Shopify store. Link will be in the bio or in the description. And I would love to see you repping some merch out there in the woods this fall and this summer. All right, we'll see you next time.